If you're wondering what it takes to create a lasting, long-term relationship through the ages, this is the video for you. Hi, my name is Travis Goodman, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 core principles rooted in scientific data discovered by both Dr. John and Julie Gottman with over 40 years of research in couples. So let's just jump right in and get started. Number 1, love maps. This is essentially where you know your partner's inner world. This goes from their basics like their dislikes, their hopes, their dreams, movies they like, friends they had. And how you want to start to get to know your partner is by asking simple questions, which starts in the dating process. When you first get to know them, you kind of are doing this kind of, where'd you come from? Who are you? Who's your family? And those things are all part of what they call love maps. It's really building the friendship. And some of those questions can start with, who's your family? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food, dessert, breakfast cereal, sandwich, Netflix show, things like that, all the way down to more deep, intimate, vulnerable questions like what emotions were allowed or not allowed in your home. And the Gottmans talk about how we need to regularly update our love map. Much like on your iPhone, when you have apps that are out of date, you need to update them on a regular basis. If left outdated, there tend to be problems. And this can happen in a long-term relationship. When you first meet your partner on day 1 versus 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years in, we often need to update the app in our head, the love map, because our partners change and we change over the years. Number 2, nurturing fondness and admiration. Now, a previous video I did, which I shared about their 4 scientifically proven communication patterns to end a relationship, and here's a card here to watch next. And they talked about how nurturing fondness and admiration is the antidote to contempt. And contempt is one of those 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that is in that previous video. And what is fondness and admiration, you ask? Well, really, it's having affection or liking. It's showing respect and having kind of a warm approval of someone. Practically, what that could look like are things like, I really felt loved by you today when you made my favorite lunch. Or something like, man, I really love when you smile. It brings warmth into my heart. I really appreciated how hard you worked on that. This is about building your partner up. It's about showing and giving compliments. It's about showing them respect. It's about lifting them up, encouraging them up, and communicating how you feel about them. And it's really cool in their book, in their workbook, which I'll drop a link to that below, is they give a nurturing fondness and admiration challenge or exercise for weeks, and it gives you kind of a roadmap of what to do over 6 to 8 weeks. And the Gottmans talk about showing your appreciation for even the small things as well as the big things, but just the day-to-day stuff that over the years of being with someone can oftentimes, even unintentionally so, go unnoticed. When we share that with your partner, or when someone shares it with you, think about how that makes you feel. If someone points out to you for doing a good job, or saying how much they love you or care for you, or how much that meant to them for, some things like taking out the trash or making them dinner, making them coffee, to again, the big stuff. So this is really about constantly filling up that bucket, constantly investing in the positivity of your relationship. Number 3, they talk about turning towards one another instead of away. This is about being responsive for your partner's bids of connection, for attention, for support. And this is building that sense of trust and respect. And that could look like anything from when you first come home from a long day of work, checking in with your partner. How was your day today? Is there anything I can do to help you out? Are you needing anything from me right now? That could look like, if you're having a hard day as well, coming to your partner and saying, hey, I just need to talk. I had a really crappy day at work, a really rough day at school, or man, I just had a hard moment with my family or my parents. And coming to them and allowing them, inviting them into a conversation of vulnerability and intimacy. On the other hand, if we're turning away from our partner in times of need or in times of emotional distress or need of connection, that begins to slowly build a rift between the relationship. And so the Gottmans found in the research that the couples that continue to come back to one another, that continue to invest in one another in those emotional needs, they built a strong foundation and enhanced the relationship. One of their other important principles is what they say, letting your partner influence you. And really, what is this about? It's about valuing what your partner has to say. It's about showing them respect. This is not about allowing them to control you, which that's not what they're talking about here. In fact, I have a video on that about 7 toxic signs of a relationship. And if you're interested in that, go ahead and check that one out. But this is about, again, allowing them their values, their opinions to have an impact on you. This is about a sense of partnership and equality within the relationship dynamic. And a couple things we can do here is by showing compromise, about showing empathy, and about perspective taking to better understand your partner's point of view and vice versa. Number 5, they talk about solving your solvable problems. They say that all relationships, and research shows this time and time again, that all relationships, in fact, think of yours right now, have conflict or have problems. And they break it down into 2 types. The first are solvable, and the second are perpetual. And in the research, what they found is that the first step a couple should do is to begin to solve their solvable problems. These tend to be more quickly resolved. They tend to be ones where you can have a conversation and a dialogue. For example, how do we better divide household chores? How do we better divide helping each other out on our rough weeks? Another one is, how do we better manage our finances right now? Or I need you to really pick up, the dishes or take out the trash for me. See, because if we solve these solvable problems, what they found is that it opens up space for continued connection. It tends to reduce unneeded conflict that can kind of fester and build over time. And it gives us space at times to work on some of those more perpetual, maybe deep-seated issues that can arise in relationships. And I'm curious, so far of these principles, of these things, what have you found most relevant for you? What do you relate to? What do you have a question about? Drop a comment below. I'm also going to link a resource for the book and some other good resources for relationship communication patterns and couples down below. And the next one they say is overcoming gridlock. So this is another word for the perpetual problems that I just previously discussed. So we have the solvable problems and then the perpetual problems that can lead a couple to this gridlock, this place of stagnation where they're stuck and they can't seem to move forward. And in these perpetual problems, the goal here is not always necessarily to solve the problem right away. He says what we need to do, what the Gottmans found, is we need to better understand what is really going on for my partner. Why is this such a big deal? Why does this matter to them? Because often what can happen is it may not be a big deal that my partner comes home late at night. I might be, yeah, it's fine. I get it. It's not that big of a deal to me. I trust you. You're okay. Maybe for my partner, me coming home late might mean something different. It might mean something like, maybe I can't trust my partner. Maybe there's something going on in our relationship. Maybe there is some infidelity or something happening. What I can do is, as I get to know my partner's story, what I might find underneath the root of that might be something to the effect of, well, my dad had an affair. That's why I take this so seriously. Why you coming home late? Why I start to get kind of worried or anxious because there's something more here. So part of these perpetual problems is kind of seeking to understand what's really going on for your partner. There's 4 ways we can do that to kind of better understand. And that first step is understanding what are the root issues. And the second is communicating calmly about it, kind of being in a calm state, to listen, to pay attention, to not judge. Third is expressing your areas where you are flexible as well as maybe inflexible or non-negotiable. And that goes for both parties involved. And then that fourth part, ending calmly. And kind of ending with gratitude and showing appreciation for being vulnerable, for opening up, for talking about what could be a difficult issue or topic for your partner. And it could be sometimes a place where we may not come to a full agreement that we may need to address time and time again. And the last principle for a long-lasting relationship is what the Gottmans called creating of shared meaning. What this would look like is including shared goals, individual goals, as well as couples goals, shared values, what we find our meaning and purpose in as a couple. That might even look like, what are the traditions we want to create for our unit, for our family, for our children, for our grandchildren. This is creating that sense of fulfillment in the relationship. And much like the love maps, Gottman and the researchers found that we might need to revisit time and time again, creating of that shared meaning, because our goals and dreams might have shifted throughout our lifespan, throughout the relationship's lifespan. And part of that is learning how to support one another's individual aspirations, dreams, and goals, as well as the couple's shared values, dreams, goals. And so what the Gottmans found in the research is by incorporating these core principles, these main communication patterns and styles, this will help create a long-lasting, healthy relationship. Now, all relationships are going to have their bumps along the way. However, if you follow and have these built into your foundation, into your what Gottman would call your sound relationship house, this will help you weather the storms of life. It will help you build and have connection throughout the lifespan of the relationship. And if you do these things, this will help you navigate life to have a lasting relationship through the ages. And if you're interested in learning about a very important communication skill, you're going to want to watch this next video.